Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mr. Hal Shurtleff. I am the co-founder and director of Camp Constitution. My wife is a counselor here, Mrs. Shurtleff, and my son, Nathaniel, Mr. Shurtleff, is also a counselor, and I have two of my younger daughters here as well. And this is a labor of love. I really enjoy doing this. It's a year-round endeavor, by the way. It's not something we just wake up Saturday, July 9th and show up. It's a lot of work that goes into it. And I want to especially thank all of you that help out during the year and invite people. I know the Gerard family, your dad has me on his radio show, and many other people make it possible. Before I introduce I want to introduce Mr. Gregg, who is actually the camp. He's the one that manages Toanippi. We don't own the camp. Not yet. We're putting a bid in pretty soon. And there'll be a salary, Gregg. Don't worry about it. But he's going to give a little overview of Toanippi Retreat Center and some do's and don'ts and where not to go and so forth. So,
thank you. I'm Greg, and you saw Isaac, Tina, and Tanya downstairs. Other of our staff you'll see around as well. Tomorrow, Tracy, Jonathan, Jonathan is our facilities manager. So, and Bill, older guy that is bearded, works on facilities here as well. These all go with the place, so to speak. Can anybody tell me, and even those that are returning, what Toanippi means? Okay, right here.
Water.
Very good. Water. The little pond down here isn't Toanippi Pond, but that is the name of the place. In Algonquin, water, like Sunapee or Winnipesaukee, means water. And so the gentleman that actually gave the camp, pulled the camp together and then subsequently gave it to his church, who eventually gave it to InterVarsity, who own it now, he had a trust. And his trust was called Wide Water Trust. But he didn't want anything named after himself. Okay? He wanted it to just to be. And so it is Toanippi, and it's a great gift from a gentleman named David Melville. David Melville. Anybody recognize that last name? Melville?
Yeah.
Melville rings a bell?
Yes.
Something about a big whale. Yeah, a descendant of Herman Melville. Herman Melville, who was a double Revolutionary War descendant himself, and whose grandfather was in the Boston Massacre. Tea Party, actually Boston Tea Party he was. So lots of history there, even associated with this little place here, as you're an hour's drive, hour and a half from Boston itself. Toanippi sits on about 300 acres, 100 of which is in Massachusetts, Ashburnham, Massachusetts. The rest is in Rindge, New Hampshire, mostly surrounding this little pond here. There's not a path that goes all the way around it, but we do own most of the way around the pond. Hopefully, I expect that you all will enjoy the pond. It's supposed to be a warm week. Today was the cool day. It's a bit muggy, but it's going to get warmer. So as you enjoy the water, I expect you got a lifeguard lined up, and water is to be respected. Okay, whether you're canoeing, whether you're kayaking, whether you're swimming, please. There are life jackets, paddles, etc. Know your surroundings. Similarly, if any of you end up going out into the woods on a walk with others, we have trail maps. You let people know. There are procedures and all that kind of good thing. So, is there a Wateatic or Monadnock hike in the?
Yes.
You're going to want to be hydrated and all that kind of good stuff. It's really you're out in nature, enjoy it, but also it's to be respected. Toanippi is owned by an organization called InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. InterVarsity's main mission is to establish on college and university campuses Christian fellowships. So whether it's Harvard, a one-time Christian university, it needs a Christian presence that will speak the truth from God's Word. As well as we've got InterVarsity in New England. I think we're on 90 different campuses. We have 90 different fellowships at different schools. So that's one of the things that we do and who we serve here a good chunk of the time, about half of our camper days. And we've got great youth groups like this, we've got family camps, men's retreats, women's retreats, etc. But one of the things that we invite people to do when they're here, hear that? Wasn't that nice? That quiet, that silence, is to enjoy what's here. Enjoy the silence and enjoy unplugging. I know we live in a pretty frenetic, plugged in, attached. This week is going to be difficult for some of you to be device free. Enjoy it and build it into your life. Okay, practices where you unplug. And so this is just one of those little snapshots of time where you can actually play ping pong and enjoy conversations and drink in both nature and the people, relationships that you have here this week. So it's really a gift. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you. Obviously, know your surroundings. If you're in the basement, if you're in Bethel, if an fire alarm sounds, obviously you'll want to find exits of the building, and we'll get with the leaders immediately in those situations to figure out what's going on. If we have an issue, hopefully there's no issues. I don't expect there to be any issues, but just so that you know. In the office downstairs, there's a first aid kit, and we'll work together on those types of things as well. Make sure you've got a key to the office and you can get in there, and we'll be notified right away as well. We're about 15 minutes from an ambulance and all that kind of stuff getting here. This is the woods. Yes, we're 10 minutes from Walmart and Hannaford and Market Basket and all that, but we are in the woods. So have a wonderful week. Take it all in, like I said. We're grateful to have you here. We love this relationship that we have with Camp Constitution. It's been a long-standing one. Mr. Melville, who had originally owned the camp, this camp itself was is near and dear to his heart. He's mid-90s now. Yeah, it has not been up here since I've been here for almost 15 years. So, but just know that there's a legacy. Okay, so welcome, and if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to one of the staff. All right, have a great week.
I brought a PA system. Maybe I should use it, huh? Wouldn't that be a good idea? Everybody hear me a little better? All right, great. Thank you, Greg. Let's give him a good hand for this. I'm just going to give a little brief history of Camp Constitution. We started it in 2008. That's when we got the ball rolling. Our first camp was in 2009. And every year we've had more numbers. We actually are expecting more during the rest of the week, a few more to come. And it's an all-volunteer association. It started off just as a summer camp. Then we decided to publish things. So we have a printing arm, publishing arm. We have a blog, and we actually have a few campers that participate in the blog. I'd like to have more. We have a YouTube channel. And most of the speeches or classes and some of the activities will be put on there. Some of the fun thing, everything we do here is fun. We've actually, some of our, Mrs. Chrissy Ann Hall, a few of her classes got over 10,000, 15,000 views on the last couple of months. And how do we get more people to know about what we do is that for all of us to let other people know. This isn't a secret. No, we're in the woods and no one wants to know about it. We want to get these people to know. So we also, we do have some goals and a couple of visions, but a vision is goal with money, right? We like to have other camps around the country. But anyway, this is a potential life-changing experience for those of you who are here for the first time. Definitely a life-affirming experience. And not just for the young people, but for all the people. A friend of mine that will be here in a few days, he came here for the first time. I've known him for quite a while. And he listened to you campers at the fire, down at the campfire. And he was so overcome. And he's not an emotional guy. And he said, if there were more young people that we had here, our future would be secure. And he's going to be supporting our camp program because of what he witnessed and observed here. He called it his Camp Constitution moment, you see. And only to have that is to actually be here, to experience it. So we are here to learn about our nation's unique history, its constitution, the problems, and how you could be part of the solution. Where's Dominic, for example? Where's Dominic? Is he here? Dominic, now every year you get a little bag. This is the first time we put a nice bag, like usually it's an envelope, and no one likes those envelopes. But we have some things in there, and they're for you to use. And one of them is a 30-minute DVD called Overview of America. I think it's in there. And what did Dominic do with that?
I brought it into my economics class.
And what did they do with that?
They played it for the class.
Played it for the class. Let's give this guy a hand. You get the job as a professional rooter, okay? So, can other people do that? Or can you take that video and go down to the cable station and play it? So, anyway, what's in your bag is a camp songbook. It's yours to keep. Put your name on it if you like. What do you do with these songbooks? Yes, ma'am. I think you're on the right track. What do you do with them? You bring them to campfire every night, right? Okay. So don't say, where's my camp? I don't have my camp songbook, because you had given one. There's also a camp schedule in there. What's the camp schedule for? Anyone can help me? So you know where you need to be, right? No, you don't wake up and say, I don't feel like going to class. I'm just going to chill. No, unless you're sick, you got a schedule there. It's a very tight schedule, too. So you don't have to ask me where your class is or where everything is, because it's right here, as long as you have your schedule. Okay, we also have, it's a 4-page article that was published by a lady that spoke here a few years ago. They signed for us. Some of the signers of the Declaration didn't fare too well. It's a good little story. It was published in 1973. And we handed these out in July 4th, and just a few days ago in downtown Boston, where we asked people who were celebrating July 4th, Independence Day, how many signers of the Constitution, or the Declaration, can you name? Most people can't get past 2 or 3. And they're celebrating what these great men did. Then we have an essay written by Mr. Robert Welch called Republics and Democracies. And by the end of camp, if you think we're a democracy, you will learn that we're not. And then you will have the opportunity to correct people very politely when they use the word democracy. I had a chance to interview a British lord on we also have a radio show called Camp Constitution Radio. He's a wonderful guy, Lord Monckton, but he used the word democracy, and I had to correct him. Very politely. I didn't say, you're wrong, Lord. But I had to be polite about it. And I said our nation was founded as a republic. You also have something called the U.S. Constitution that you're all going to memorize before you leave here and understand. You can memorize, I'm kidding about the memorizing, unless you want to. So this is yours to keep, compliments of the Camp Constitution. We have extra copies. Now what do you do with extra stuff?
Give it away. Give it away.
Give it away to whom? People who care about these things, right? And this is the half-hour DVD you have. And thanks to Mr. Everett, we thought, let's have something a little more appealing than just a brown bag or a brown envelope. So now you have this that you can walk around in your town and people say, what's that? Camp Constitution, and here's the website. And you should go check it out because I'm in one of the videos or something like that, right? Okay, any questions with this? And so please, I don't want to see you laying around. Oh, your name tag will be on there, your little, like a luggage tag. Please, I don't want to see like you don't care about it, If you don't want the stuff, we will give it to someone who does. But so don't leave it around, okay? I want to just mention some of the staff here, and some of them will come up. Mrs. Harper, who is grading right now, she's our program director. She comes all the way from Western Michigan. She drives in a van with about 100,000 miles, 100 million miles or so. Been around the world a number of times. And Mr. Cregenza, who is sort of our assistant program director, he comes all the way from the White Mountains in New Hampshire. And Mr. Herderney, who's the head counsel, he'll be up here in a few minutes. Where's Mr. Wallace? Mr. Wallace, one of our instructors. And Mr. Affleck, who's our newspaper editor. And by the way, I've known Mr. Affleck since 1990 when we met at a camp in Pennsylvania. He does a lot with our website. And some of you may know, we inherited Sam Blumenfeld's library. Mr. Sam Blumenfeld, Dr. Blumenfeld. And mostly Mr. Affleck has been archiving this incredible material on the Camp Constitution website. So please share this. We actually have Mr. Blumenfeld's Alpha Phonics, where you can teach people how to read with 128 lessons in audio and video, along with his book in PDF format. About 180 of his audio speeches from the 60s up until now. He was a pioneer in the homeschool movement. In a lot of his articles and essays, he knew a lot of world leaders, first time ever published. He knew a leader of, we'll learn about a man named Mose Shombe, who was a leader of Katanga, and what happened to him, and his friendship with St. Blumenfeld. So please share this information with people as well. I'm actually thinking about doing something called the Daily Sam, every day link, and I need help with that. If I can have some volunteers maybe after camp that will do that. Okay, so give him a big hand because he's just doing some incredible work. Our campfire director. He'll be up here in a few minutes to talk about what he does. He doesn't start the fires. He's just in charge of what's going on at the campfire. Mrs. Kraft, who was working, she's the patriot, the young campers. She's working right now, the junior campers we call them. Mr. Kalis is our rec director, all the way from Michigan as well, his family. Mr. Dr. Long, there's Doc Long. He's our doctor. He just got here. Oh, he just upside. So, and we have our camp nurse will be here. She's on her way, Mrs. Rice. Now, the importance of our mission. Many people here have helped support this camp financially, and they do this because they believe in what we do here. They're happy to donate 100, 1,000, a few thousand, or even more. And we want them to make sure that we're good stewards of their generosity, okay? Don't be afraid to ask questions. The only dumb question is that question that's not asked, okay? If you're not sure about something, or you don't understand it, because that's what we're here for. You can ask the question later on if you don't want to ask the question in class. Anybody have parents or grandparents in the military? Okay, there's something they call a chain of command. Oh yeah, I see a couple of veterans in the back. Yeah, we know what that is. Now, what does that mean? Yes, Mr. Smith. Mike.
So the next person that's in command from you.
Right. So in the Army, if you're a private, you report to probably a sergeant or a corporal or an E4, whatever. And then if you that E4 reports to a lieutenant. Lieutenant reports to a captain and so forth. That private doesn't go to the President of the United States and say, I got a problem, Mr. President, or he doesn't go to the 5-star general or 4-star general and say, I got a problem in my unit. Don't work that way. Well, the same thing here. Most of the problems that may come up, there'll be a few probably, or we call them challenges, not problems, right? It can be resolved very easily in your cabin or in your room, okay? I am not a Supreme Court justice. So what I mean by that is, let's say,
Praise God.
What's that?
Praise God.
I know. Well, actually, I think a lot better than what we have. Up my word. Oh, there'd be a lot fewer. There'd be no Obamacare if I was just. Anyway, so if your counselor says no, and well, Mr. Shurtleff, my counsel said no, but what do you say? I'm going to go to the decision of the lower court. Okay. So unless it's an emergency, that's a different thing. Okay. All right. So we discussed the schedule already, chain of command. We want to leave camp cleaner than we found it. What does that mean? Anybody can help me? Yes.
It means that we're not going to be throwing litter out.
That's right.
We're going to be picking it up.
If we see it, we pick it up. That's called leadership and stewardship. There's a beautiful place here, and we've been coming here. I've been involved here since 1993, and I come up here year-round, by the way. So, and they tell us that we're the best group they have. They're very impressed with the caliber of people here, and so am I. So, again, we have a good rapport with the people here, and we want to keep it that way. Senior campers help the new campers, show leadership, and help your counselors, especially if they're new counselors. Help them as much as you can, okay? Because guess what? You're going to be, some of you will be counselors in a couple of years, right? Welcome the new campers. And there might be a few that are homesick. Okay, make sure that they get over that pretty quickly. The best prescription for homesickness is what? Friendship, new friendships, right? We have some campers that, I want to go home, they're here one hour, and then by Sunday they're crying because they want us to have can we go for another week? They want to stay here, so. Take advantage of the many opportunities we have. From the morning run, which I conduct, it's an optional thing, which we meet at the flagpole, and we do push-ups and grueling calisthenics and a 20-mile run, all in a half hour. Or the polar bear swim, okay? And you can do swim and run at the same time. Well, you can swim and then run and swim if you like. Moping is not on the schedule. It's not on there. If you don't see it, noping. I'm not having a good time, nobody likes me. You know, because I'm not doing anything to take advantage of opportunities. We are going on a hike on Mount Monadnock. It's 3,500 feet above sea level. Tuesday, it's an optional, but it's challenging, right? We're going to do on a wonderful history trip. Some of you have never seen where the first battle of our war for independence took place. You're going to see that. You're going to get a chance to maybe do some air rifle shooting, and even there'll be a horse. We'll have a horse. Mrs. Pike will. Mr. Pike's daughter will bring Mr. Ed, right, on camera. Talking horse, right? Okay. If issues come up during the course of the camp, let's see if we can address it. Not New Year's Eve, but while we're at camp, okay? Don't tell me, oh, you had a problem with somebody in January that I can't resolve. So let's try to resolve as many issues or should I say challenges as we can. Sick call. If it's an emergency, you let your counselor know, or the first adult you see. But if you're just not feeling well, right after breakfast, downstairs in the cafeteria, Dr. Long just popped in, so why don't you raise your hand, Doc, stand up, let him know that he's our camp doctor. Okay, and Mrs. Our nurse.
Right.
Mrs. Rice, she's not here yet, but she'll be here soon. I think this is her 5th year too, okay? Our lifeguard will be here in the morning, so once she comes, we'll introduce her. And by the way, we looked very hard to find a lifeguard. Last year's lifeguard couldn't make it, and I only had like a 2-week window. And if any of you thinking about being lifeguards, we're willing, if you can come back year after year, we're willing to pay for your life, whatever it costs. Keep that in mind. I mean, we called up YMCA's all over I was getting a little nervous. We finally found a friend of my daughter, Christina, you know. So keep that in mind. We'd like to have, we did have a lifeguard for many years, but she got married and got a full-time job, and it made it difficult for her to be here. So, and that's important. We know lifeguard, no swimming. And it would be awful not to be able to swim in July at Toanippi. Okay, errands. We will make trips to the store in the morning. So if you run out of something, you don't come to me. What do? Go to your counselor, right? Okay. Give them the money, what you think it may cost, or what have you. Classrooms. You can take notes, but do not pass them. You know, pass little notes to your friends. As we do, we're going to confiscate them and publish them in the newspaper. How's that sound? All right? It shows disrespect when you're doing that. Lots of preparation to these classes. Believe me, you don't just sit up here with a PowerPoint and go with the flow. It takes a lot of preparation. And you may have had a long day, and say, pay attention. And another thing too, plenty of time between classes to breaks. So you shouldn't be going into the bathroom and spending 5 or 10 minutes to get out of class. So take care of your business before that. So, and give these instructors your undivided attention. We've had Mrs. Hall come all the way from Florida, and then she's going on the road. She's leaving here, going to Texas. We've got people from all over the country that are coming here. So give them your undivided attention. One of the things we're going to we have is called a super camp. So by Saturday night at closing ceremony, we will award a lady and a guy, camper, acknowledge them, and they will get a tuition to next year's camp, or they can give it to a friend or a family member if they can't make it. And we just look for those campers, not the strongest or the best looking or the most athletic, but those that are involved in the program. People are asking questions, people are writing for the camp newspaper, people are going on the morning run, people are singing at campfire, and those kinds of things, okay? So at this point, I'd like to introduce my good friend, Mr. Aderney. He and I have been involved in camps since 1990 in various capacities, including 2 years in a row we did 2 camps. And he comes all the way from Western Michigan. So just give him a nice warm hand.
The town I come from is called Northeast. I don't know how long it took them to come up with that name. It's over by Erie, Pennsylvania, we live by the lake. Okay, in order to have a good camp, we need to have rules. Before I get to the rules, when we're down there in the morning, flag raising, and we say the pledge, It's one nation under God. There's no pause in there. Well, I don't hear anybody stopping. Okay. We are to attend the scheduled events and any of the meetings on time. And what I mean by on time is that 5 minutes before it's scheduled to start, you are to be moving this way. And the time is my watch, not yours. So if you're doubtful as to what the real time is, come see me. The name tags, you will wear them. Unless you're swimming or bathing, you're wearing these name tags. Sleeping, you don't need to sleep with it. Okay, the flagpole is also one of those events that you need to attend. Don't think, well, it's not a class, I'm not gonna be there. Yeah, you gotta be there. None of you are to leave the campground at any time. If you drove, we want you to turn your keys in to your counselor. If you have a cell phone, we want to turn that into your counselor. We don't want you walking around here texting, we want you interacting. Everyone must be in the cabins at 10:30. And the lights out will be 11 o'clock. So when I announce that it's time to go to the cabins, that doesn't mean now I gotta go for my hot chocolate. I will take it away from you. The waterfront is only to be used during scheduled events. Now, we will have scheduled events in the afternoon, every afternoon. The waterfront, where you're in the water, is the only time at camp where your life is in danger. Now, I think you people think that, yeah, I'm gonna live forever. Out there in the water, you have to be careful. If you can, swim with someone so that you are watching each other. There's to be no pushing off the raft. There's a nice big blue one, and there's the wooden raft, and we're not going to be pushing people off of these things.
Can you hold the mic a little higher? It's hard to hear.
Okay.
It actually,
You are to bring your name tags down to the waterfront, and you will leave them on the picnic table. We want to know who's in the water, and you are to pick it up when you leave. The boats and the canoes. If you get into a boat or a canoe, you are to have a life jacket on, and you will wear it the entire time you are out there. If you don't, we're dragging you in, and you're not going out again. You can only take the boat or the canoe halfway across the lake. And there's a little cove over to this side. Don't go in there. So if I can't see you, if the lifeguard can't see you, we don't know if you get into trouble. So wherever you paddle that thing, you have to be able to see the lifeguard. Not just the beach, see the lifeguard. And if you happen to catch any of the creatures that are down there, the frogs mostly, you have to let them go at the end of the rec period. There's no boys in the girls' cabins, and there's no girls in the boys' cabins. In fact, if it's not your cabin, you probably shouldn't be in there. There's no smoking anywhere here. No firecrackers, fireworks. No alcoholic beverages, no drugs will be tolerated. Now, for the camp romances, I have my no physical contact rule. If you want to get to know someone, you're going to have to talk to them. There's no hand holding, there's no putting your arm around. There's no contact between male and female campers. Those that have broken that rule in the past have lived to regret it. I've seen them years later, and they will walk across the other side of the street. Because I am going to watch over the young ladies like a jealous father. And as a jealous father, I don't have to be reasonable, logical, or fair. And my advice at dating at your age is that guys at your age, girls are too expensive and they want too much of your time. And girls, we guys don't even start growing a brain until we're 25. So if you see us doing really dumb stuff, that's why. There's the morning polar bear swim. Now, there's no ice due to the global warming, which coincidentally happens every time this year. But it is a nice refreshing swim in the morning. You have to bring your knife and your name tag. I will be down there. If you go on the run, I'll wait for you. You can also swim afterwards. There are cabin inspections every morning. During the first class, I will be inspecting cabins. What I'm looking for is neat and clean first, and then creativity, originality. I like things that are handmade, written out by yourself. Being a grandfather, we just love to see that sort of thing. You are not to use any of the local foliage. Don't be stripping the flowers out there and bringing them down into your cabin. Okay, now I realize that what I have laid out here does not cover all the things that young people can think of. And for that, we have Hoderney's rules, and I just make those up as we go along. Okay, that's all I have. We're going to have a good week. Thank you.
Okay, now it's time for Mr. Affleck to come in and talk about the camp from the newspaper. Mr. Affleck.
Hello, campers. We have a camp newspaper, obviously. You saw the first edition. We're going to put one out hopefully every day. We need you guys to participate in that effort. So what we've done is we've built a little competition into the pizza party race this year. There's going to be a score that's added to your cabin. I guess your scores for the cabins every day. We'll be adding in your camp participation. So we're gonna ask for original submissions. You can cover lectures, you can cover funny stories, campfire, anything that happens at camp is fair game. You can submit rumors. Be nice about them. Pictures, original artwork. If you can think of it, whatever. If you need help with ideas or anything like that, come see me. I'm going to be at Bethel in the main, in that big main room there, and be glad to see you, and I'll help you get your submittals in. Okay.
Okay, who is coming up next? Oh, Mr. Pike, our campfire director.
Energizer Bunny over there. Welcome to Camp Constitution 2016. Campfire every night at 9 o'clock, which means 8:55. So please be there 5 minutes early. The fire you'll all see down by the lake, down by the waterfront. We are looking for talent. And as you know, those of you who are veterans, talent is very loosely defined around here, okay? We're looking for humor, also loosely defined. If you have any jokes, skits, if you play an instrument, if you brought your harp along or something. That could either be the real harp or like a, harmonica, harpoon, that's okay too. Let me know. You have to tell me before. You just can't like show up with your harp or your grand piano and expect to play a song without me knowing. So tell me before the campfire starts. And I don't mean at 8:55, I mean that day, before dinner preferably, so I can fit you into my incredibly complicated spreadsheet. Okay, but jokes, good jokes, they gotta be cleared by me first for appropriateness and at least a smidgen of humor, all right? Campfire, if anybody has any favorite songs, they don't seem in this very, very tried and true book, let me know. We'll look up the lyrics, we can get them printed and added into the newspaper for Mr. Affleck. So we're also looking very much for new songs. We have a whole bunch of good songs out there. This is an old book, it's a good old book, but we're looking to update it a little bit. So I'm putting the word out there. If you guys have favorite songs, patriotic preferably, let me know and we'll look it up and get it in there, okay? So we'll see you all. We're going to be doing, we're looking at the radar. We have our staff running all night long here, checking and making sure it's not going to rain. And it looks like it's going to be okay, so we're looking to do the campfire outside. Nothing is sadder than a campfire inside, with no fire. And then, they do tend to frown upon us here at Toe and Nipper. We burn the easels and the chairs and all that. So we want to be downstairs, outside down by the beach, and hopefully not in the drizzle. Hopefully it'll be dry. We will have sentries posted if for some reason it rains, and we're going to have it back up here. All right, so keep an eye out, and looking forward to you guys down there at 8:55. Thank you.
Mrs. Kraft around.
She's setting up.
Okay, she's setting up, okay. Well, we would invite Mrs. Kraft to discuss the Patriot Camp, but she's busy setting up. Let's see, how about our rec director, Mr. Chris Kalis?
Welcome. What has Mr. Moore taught us? Hip hip. That was lame. Right? Hip hip. That wasn't good. Hip hip. That was close. Let's do it again. Hip hip. All right. Now look to your left and your right and high five anybody. Camp Constitution 2016. How cool is that? All right, listen up. If I hear I'm bored, this is nothing, I want to text, I'm going to break your arms. I tell my kids, I'm going to break your arms. Listen to this. Volleyball, wiffle ball, canoeing, kayaking, hiking, mountain climb, field trip, swimming, campfire and skits, steal the bacon, tug of war. Nah, we're not doing that this year. I got something better. We're going to do the Dizzy Bat Relay Race. Oh yeah, so get ready for that. Then we have tournaments. Gaga, foosball, ping pong, chess, carpet ball, backgammon. There's no I'm bored, there's nothing to do. Give me my phone. We're not doing that. That's not happening. Listen, if you're playing one of the tournament games, ping pong, chess, or whatever, and you're not in the tournament, you have to relinquish that foosball table or ping pong table to someone who wants to move along the tournament. We, in years past, have not been able to complete all the tournaments, and we're going to try to do that this year. So we're doing that. Gentlemen, I need you to come down to camp early, or the campfire early, and help move the picnic tables in a circle the way we like them. So some of you strong guys do that for us. If anybody wants to help start the fire each evening, you can meet me down there at 8:30. I usually get it going at 8:30. So that's cool. Like Mr. Affleck said, for all the activities that we do, we need someone to be the reporter for those. There's only a handful of activities that you're required to do. Volleyball, if you're not into volleyball, we want you down there watching it, and someone can be the reporter for that. Same with the Dizzy Bat Challenge, that's required. That also. And right after that, we'll do Steal a Bacon. So there's a couple things that we need to do. And then, last but not least for me, and for my fellow Catholic Christians, we will be praying a rosary together in the afternoon. And if you're interested in joining us, you can get with me or Mrs. Mazzarella, and we'll tell you the time and the location. But other than that, hip hip! Huzzah! One more. Hip hip! Huzzah! You see how that elevated that? I mean, there's more in you guys. Let's give it one more. Hip hip! Huzzah! There you go. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Mazzarella. Miss Mazzarella, where is she? Miss Maz.
He is here.
Oh, are we gonna do any ballroom dancing?
Miss Crafts.
I know, yeah. We may do some last year we did some ballroom dancing. I was really line dancing, so we may do that again this year. A volunteer optional thing. Okay, Mrs. Kraft is here, so she's gonna talk a little bit about her Judy. And Mr. Wallace.
And Mr. Wallace. Let's hear from Mr. Wallace.
Praise the root.
Now listen guys, when you get this age, you're not shy. I just want you to know that. So if Jesus doesn't come back, you may be like this one day. Anyway, welcome. I would like to know who of you are here for the first time. Stand on your feet, please. First time. First time. Give them a round of applause. You're going to have a week to remember. And unfortunately, most of you won't be in my class, so you're good. But I'm going to be working with 6-year-old and up through, right? And we got a lot of fun things planned for the junior campers. Now this is where you older people come in. Did you feel a little old that you can't come to my class? I want you to support these darlings, all right? If they need your help, here. How many of you are repeat campers? Stand on your feet. Woo! Round of applause. Come on, guys. Well, come on, adults. Clap. You may be seated. Now, because I put you out there, if you see the first-time campers needing help, even my 6-year-old, please help them out, please. Say, hey, this is how we do it. This is, why we do it. And make them feel welcome. Have a smile on your face. You're in a good place. All right? I would take you for volunteers, but most of you are committed to classes. But maybe during recreational time, maybe during lunchtime. You see a little, my darling struggling with a tray or whatever. We're going to try to plan a parade. I have to get permission. And
We got the permit from Mr. Sherman.
I got the permit! No. So I want you to clap for them. Make them feel happy and special, all right? All right. Just welcome again. Now, my compadre, partner in... I didn't want to say that.
Ministry, it's ministry.
Citizenship ministry is Pastor Wallace, and he's awesome on the guitar. So we're going to have praise and worship you might hear some noise up there. Just ignore us, okay? We're just having a good time.
Just a little rock and roll for Jesus.
That's it. Yeah, a little jam for Jesus. So thank you for listening. Here's Mr. Wallace.
I'm going to be teaching one of Mr. Perloff's classes this year. It's called Creation versus Evolution. And then Saturday morning, I'll be doing the politics that pollute paradise. You know how I teach the 10 Commandments, the divine decalogue for dynamic decency, and the biblical basis of the Bill of Rights? Well, this year, I'm going to explain some of the people and the processes that have been used to steer the American public away from our biblical foundation. The Founding Fathers believed that if people read the Bible, they would understand what their Constitution is based upon. And so what do evil people do? They try to suppress the knowledge of the Bible in our society. And there's a lot of ways that they do that. One of the ways I believe is through this whole sustainability mythology. I always tell people, set your watch and let's wait 5 minutes and see if the world is going to turn brown as they're telling us it's going to turn brown. The Bible tells us in Genesis that God has, he says, eat from all this vegetation, for in it I have placed seed. How many seeds are in a grape? A tomato, a watermelon, an apple. And each one of those seeds will make many more plants that will make many more seeds. So God made a sustainable planet. And what they're doing is they're lying to us about all this. When they say that the world is not sustainable, they're saying that God, they're making a slur, they're blaspheming God and saying that God is not a good creator.
Right.
By saying sustainability, they're saying that they're slurring the creative goodness of God. Think about it this way. In the past 4 or 5 years, I've been on 4 continents. All the most popular places in the world are the richest places in the world. New York City, London, Tokyo, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Mannheim, Stuttgart, Germany, Frankfurt, Germany, Vienna, Austria. All the places where they say there is overpopulation is where we have the most resources, is where we have the most medical care. And anyone who says that, I don't want to mention names, but I've been on stage with some people who write these sustainability books, and at lunch I get them to admit that every shortage that they're talking about is a government-caused shortage. And if people are left alone, and you have a farm and you've got beets and beans, and another guy has a piece of land where we could put a vegetable stand, and someone else has a truck, we triangulate, and we can get those products from point A to point B where people can buy them. It's usually a government regulation or a militia somewhere or a renegade military force that disrupts the distribution line so the trucks can't go down the road, and they create shortages. Every shortage that the government tells us about is a government-caused shortage. Anyway, the politics that pollute paradise, I'm going to go into many more of the things that they tell us are going wrong in our society, and I'm going to show you the people and the instances and how they have actually manipulated the situation that God gave us as a free, sustainable planet to pollute paradise. Anyway, Mr. Sirkoff.
I'm sorry, I forgot a couple things. We're going to have a chess tournament for the counselors. Well, when you sign up for your tournament, I can't recognize your handwriting all the time. So what we've done is, I want you to write your name on here on the poster board what the tournament is. And then I can rip this label off. I don't have to try to figure out your chicken scratch, and I can put this on the tournament, or in the brackets. It makes my job a lot easier. So this will be on these, there'll be sheets like this pinned to every poster board down there for the respective tournament, and write your name on there if you want that. And foosball is teams, ping pong singular. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just want to acknowledge a few new people here. Mr. Mert Melfa, he's our video guy. And if you have ideas or interviews and see him, he's come all the way from Greater Albany, spend the week with us. And we have 2 counselors all the way from Indiana. I think ladies can stand up, Mrs. Card and Mr. Curry. We're Facebook friends. Sometimes Facebook doesn't pay off. So we're walking all the way from Western Indiana, so they came a long way. So make them feel welcome. And if you're one of their, Mrs. Curry's a counselor, please help her. You know, if you're here in the room, help her. I mean, know the ropes, know what's around, that kind of thing. Okay. So with that, any questions? Okay, great. So we're gonna have a great time. Yeah. All right. So what's next on the schedule? Yeah. That's why talking to her, hanging out with a British lord. Schedule. What time do you need to be there? 8:05. And what do you bring with you? And what else? Mosquito repellent. All righty. See you down the campfire.